Today on Bronx Talks, we're going to be giving you our early opinions on the 2026 Yankees.
Yeah, I think the first one that, was really encouraging and caught our eyes was Cam Schlittler. And obviously came up last year, super impressive. Then has the outing against Boston in the postseason. We knew he was going to be good, but I think they're not necessarily a sense of doubt, but kind of like, okay, how much of this was real and how much of it was, all right, just coming up, young guy has the juices, throwing harder, and, only throws 70 something pitches, because obviously got held back in spring training, but looked phenomenal. And I get that Giants lineup
Yeah.
wasn't great. He dominated. And, I really just think the key with him is just stay healthy because we know that his velocity ticked up. I think it was like 4 miles an hour once he came up last year to the big leagues. So you wonder how much of that strains the elbow and the arm. But if he stays healthy, he could be up there with the best starters in the game. I don't think it's crazy to say.
Yeah, 100%. Went five and a third, eight strikeouts. The fastball that he has is just absolutely disgusting. And part of the reason what makes him so good, his secondary pitches in velocity, they're not that far off. Like the cutter's coming in 95, and then you got the 100-mile-an-hour fastball. It's got the sinker there as well. Like the difference in velocity is not that far off. And you don't, as a hitter, you don't really know what's coming out of his hand. I think he has the potential this year to be even better than what he was last year. He looked absolutely dominant. Some of the Giants hitters were genuinely just lost up there. Some people are even saying they could see him being like a future ace of
Yeah.
the New York Yankees. So, look, obviously he needs to pitch more innings, needs to make more starts. We don't want to jump the gun, but there is so much to be excited about when it comes to Cam Schlittler because you can watch one start of this guy and see the talent. I remember when I watched his debut last year and he threw like a 90-mile-an-hour slider and I like jumped out of my chair. I was like, "Whoa, the talent on this guy is very, very exciting." But Christian, the player who stuck out to me this series, who I got really excited about, was Giancarlo Stanton. He went 6 for 12 in the series with a home run. He had a great spring training as well. He needs to stay healthy for the Yankees. I think this year, if he could stay healthy, him and Judge could just finally have that season where they both click, they both connect, and it would just be awesome to see. Kind of what we envisioned when the Yankees traded for Stanton back in 2017 going into the 2018 season, right? And Stanton's always dealt with some injuries. Judge has had some injuries early on. So it hasn't really synced together. I think 2021, they both hit like 30 plus home runs. But I think this year they could both be in store for a big season. And that would be really, really good for the New York Yankees. Giancarlo Stanton closing in on 500 home runs. But 24 homers in 77 games last year. Giancarlo Stanton just needs to find a way to stay healthy because when he's in that lineup, him and Aaron Judge, they are really, really tough to beat.
Yeah, even scored from second on a single. Don't see that often from Stanton. How about the Yankees middle infield though? And I guess Jose Caballero specifically. I don't care about the error that he made down 7-0. The double plays that they turned this series were phenomenal. I mean, I don't think we've seen that in recent years from the Yankees. And not to take a dig at Volpe, but I mean, Caballero just has a much stronger arm. And like we visually saw that, some of the double plays that were turned that just I don't think would have gotten turned with Volpe at shortstop. It's going to be an interesting thing to see how that kind of plays out. Uh, I'm rooting for Caballero. I'm rooting for Volpe once he comes back. Competition at the shortstop job. I think we've dreamed about that for maybe the past 2 years. But he looked really good, and Jazz, of course, he gets his flowers too because he looked great at second, and I thought on offensively he looked solid too. Didn't do anything crazy noticeable, but I mean, really the entire lineup did something. It was just like everyone doing their part to help the Yankees win. It really was perfect.
Yeah, it was a perfect series. The Yankees never even trailed at any point throughout the series. They gave up one run in 3 games. So, on all facets of the game, the Yankees were great. But, Christian, I had Jose Caballero as a player to watch going into this season. It's his first time getting some full run. He's going to be at that shortstop position every single day for at least a month or so until Anthony Volpe comes back. He hasn't really gotten that type of run locked in at one position in his career. And Jose Caballero, since joining the Yankees last summer, Christian, 264 average, 16 stolen bases, 3 homers, and a 787 OPS in 43 games. Maybe the Yankees found something in Jose Caballero. And if he's going to put up these type of numbers, I think you have to make him the starting shortstop unless Anthony Volpe can finally get it together, because this right now, what we're getting from Jose Caballero at shortstop, albeit just 3 games, is already a massive impact or a massive addition compared to what we had got from Anthony Volpe. But Christian, I think the most important thing that we saw from this series was the Yankees bullpen. 3 games, 11 innings pitched, didn't allow a run, 12 strikeouts. David Bednar, we saw him get into trouble, get himself out of trouble, just like he did in the WBC. I think everyone is what they're taking away from this series, though, is Camilo Doval. He looked absolutely nasty out there on the mound. And I think he's really the make or break player for that Yankees bullpen, because he's going to be setting the tone for David Bednar. He had some struggles last year when the Yankees acquired him, but they really need Camilo Doval to be that setup man. And if he can be that and return the all-star form, I think you got 2 all-star relievers in the back end of that bullpen.
Yeah, I think it's Camilo Duvall definitely was the one that you would put stock into and be like, okay, he looks good. Even in the WBC, had a big outing against Team USA. I think he's gonna have a good year. As for the rest of the bullpen, I think it's kind of like, all right, let's wait and see. I know Tim Hill, Jake Bird had good outings too. Even Hedrick, like the Giants lineup did not look great, right? And the Yankees could go out and blow 2 games against the Mariners, and then we're going to be here saying, okay, this is not a good problem. But Bednar and Duvall, I feel like I could look at, and with help from the series, and say, okay, we might have something, nice, 8-9, like that could work. The rest of the bullpen, I think it's still kind of up in the air. Has to be figured out. But yeah, Duvall really did look good.